Sound you just heard is essential to our lightning talks. Because although it's always great to have people for lightning talks, that's 5 minutes. We have 4 lightning talks, and each of the talks I'm gonna present all the speakers by their first name. They're going to tell you who they are, what they're going to talk about, and then they will have exactly 5 minutes. And it's maybe good to define what exactly 5 minutes means. We're not going to go to is it in Paris, where they have the actual 1 meter and they have the actual 1 minute and whatnot, but I'm going to be using my smartphone for the 5 minutes. And at 5 minute mark, I'm going to ring the gong, the very spiritual part of the Euruko. And then the speakers have 15 seconds to finish up what they were saying. After that, I will walk onto the stage and I will do the Oscar Academy Awards. I don't care if you're thanking your mother and the Academy and whatnot, I am going to stop you. This is part of me being the servant of the participants, so we're going to stick to 5 minutes. Obviously, we're going to make sure that people get their laptops connected, and the 5 minutes starts from the point when they have told who they are, what are they going to talk. Then we have 5 minutes. We will start with Renato, and then we will have Mohnish, Hans, and Hana to finalize this. Are you excited? Absolutely. I'm going to grab all my belongings, and Renato, you're good to go. Great big applause.
And I'm going to be speaking today, because at Aptic we're doing a migration from Sinatra to Grape, so I'm going to explain a little bit how we're doing that. So to talk a little bit about me, I'm Renato. I've been working at Aptic since 2019. I've been using Ruby since 2016. I was doing some other stuff before, and I have a few open source projects, Ruby on Rails and other stuff in Ruby as well. I work for Aptic. It is an ASO tool. We're a SaaS. We're a recognized ASO leader in the market, and we have offices in Brussels, Tokyo, Bangalore, and also San Francisco. We have our dev team is split in backends, full stacks, and frontends, and we use mostly Ruby, except for data science, which uses Python, and for the frontend that uses React. So in the end, why did we need to move away from Sinatra? We write endpoints for a lot of the stuff that we serve, and documentation was a big pain point. When we started using Sinatra, we didn't really have any established documentation for the endpoints, and so in the end, we didn't have any way to document those endpoints, and that was starting to get a pain point when we were trying to figure out how to pass the endpoints for the front ends. Our idea was to try and use the same code we were using for parameter validation to use for the endpoints as well as documentation, and we could not find anything like that for Sinatra, and we didn't want to write something new. So we went to look for something, and we found Grape, which was already well established, it's been going since 2010. And then, since it's already designed with APIs in mind, it has a better API for parameter validation for all this stuff. It also has a companion gem, Grape Swagger, which exports the documentation and allows for parameter validation for a lot of stuff to be bundled up with the documentation itself. And since Grape is inspired by Sinatra originally, it also it's very close. Writing an endpoint for Grape is very similar to what we were already doing for Sinatra. So it seemed like a natural movement. This is an example from the documentation of Grape of how it works more or less, and it's a little example of how you would write the Twitter API in Grape. Sorry. I jumped a little bit. So the exploration, we tried exploring a little bit. We tried doing some internal testing to see if Grape really would offer what we needed for the migration. And we found out that it did allow us to do what we wanted, which was parameter validation, export all this stuff, allow us to write descriptions and things in the endpoint itself with a nice DSL that we could export for Swagger. We would not, however, be able to migrate all the endpoints at once. Like we have a lot of endpoints, most of them are in Sinatra. We can't just stop everything to do that. And as most of you might know, the documentation was not good, some of it was non-existing, and the rest was not up to date. So we decided to use Rack Cascade to do that. So the idea is that we could migrate endpoint by endpoint, and so we didn't have to stop the whole thing to do the migration. So Rack Cascade allows us to, when you have an endpoint, if it's 404s, then it goes to the next application. And so, this is what it would look like. The old Sinatra API has an old endpoint. If we can comment it out, it will automatically fall back to the new Grape API. So we can progressively migrate one by one. This is basically it. So it's very rushed, but if you want to know more, we can talk. We have a booth at the end, so come and talk to us if you want to know more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renato. Our gong is not disappointed, even if it wasn't used on the first round. I can sense the energy. They're ready to be of service in the near future in the next talks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mohnish. Just waiting for the slides to load. Sorry, second. All right. My talk today is about questions. I had a chance to facilitate a team meeting in which I got to ask a question. If you were a new superhero, what special powers would you have? Some of the answers that I got from the team. Somebody wanted to be a mind reader, a power of that. Somebody would like to give smart answers as their superpower. For the engineering manager, it was, I wished I could get to understand, or get people to understand each other automatically without my having to manually do so. And if that was possible, my life as a manager would be made so much more easier. Another engineer answered, I would love the power to work more collaboratively with my team members, understand people better and the way they work, and if I can, use my powers to get rid of poverty. Now, towards the end of the meeting, this was the feedback that was shared by the manager. He loved the meeting, and he found the answers in the meeting to be very wholesome. Now, for me, as somebody who got a chance to facilitate it, it got me wondering what actually happened in the meeting that made him feel so, and what was it in the questions and the answers that made him think about it in this way. Fundamentally, an icebreaker is just a question, and that was a question that I was asking in a stand-up meeting. Let's see what Albert Einstein says about questions. According to him, it's not about finding answers. Questions are about solving problems. I did some more research on this, and I found by a Danish philosopher called Pia Lauritsen. She's done 20 years of research on questions and answers. And here are some thought-provoking quotes from her book of questions. Our relationship with the use of questions are expressions of our culture. The technology of a question is the fact it forces the issue at hand to reveal itself in a certain manner. Let's see how. If I go back to the answers of the manager and the engineer 3, they both actually talk in a way about communication being a problem in the team. And Communication is something which can make or break teams, and yet it's an underrated skill, and it's not talked about enough in the software industry. But yet, this question revealed that in some way. She also says in one of her TED Talks, questions have the power to connect people with each other and the world they share. And the road from ignorance to knowledge travels through questions. The original stand-up question was actually something created by this person called Burr Flynn. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. She works at a company called Equal Experts. And she made a pack of cards of questions. This is the actual pack of cards. I can just show it to you afterwards if you'd like to know more. She made these questions to be safe, non-invasive, and fun. And turns out questions are a way to work towards a shared purpose. The reason why I thought of giving this talk today is because we don't talk about communication much, but turns out even asking a light-hearted question can reveal so much in a team. And where can I ask this in a work setting? Well, in a stand-up meeting with maybe 15 minutes and maybe 6 team members, if even you have 1 minute per person, they can talk about their status update as well as maybe answer a question. You can also propose time boxing these questions. You can ask these questions even in retrospectives and refinement meetings and etc., other meetings as well. And if you don't like answering a question, you can just simply say pass. One of my personal realizations with asking questions is it helps to get to know team members better, and that builds trust, and that eventually builds psychological safety, something that all of us care about, to feel more safe at the workplace where we work. And it was fascinating for me that how one question revealed so much about the team and the manager and what was on his mind, and what was similarly on the mind of an engineer. And yeah, it just made me appreciate questions even more. And you can find these questions in the link in the slides. That's it about me. And
still making sure that we get next presentation, next lightning talk connected. But already at this point, looking at is there any time enough questions to build the trust and so on? So great topics. Are we all set? Not quite. Excellent. Then we'll wait. We'll just make sure that we have the right presentation.
Different.
I think it's suitable to the lightning talks is that whenever you're on stage and something happens, it is the way it is. It's the beauty of live events. Round 2, we're set. Hans, you're good to go.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess now we're set. Hey, I'm Hans. I'm a Ruby developer from Vienna. I've been doing this for around 4 years, and I'm currently employed at Meister, who have a booth over there, and we're hiring. I'm here today to talk about command line apps. I love command line apps. I don't know, it's maybe the simplicity or like this thing. We're developers, we live on the command line, right? But still, every time I get to work with the command line, makes me feel like a hack girl. I don't know. One command line app that we, or most of us most likely, interact with on a daily basis is the Rails command line app, right? We know these, generate scaffold, and so on. And a lot of people, this is actually a really great command line app. A lot of people actually go as far as to say Rails really is as productive or as successful as it is because it has a great command line app, because it really allows you to be productive. So what does that mean? Like, why are command line apps productive or usable or others not, right? It's just text. Like, we don't have buttons, we don't have components or stuff like we have on the web. How can I make something that's just text usable? And the answer is, well, we can still take a bunch of pages out of the book of web design, for example. You got to think about affordances and signifiers. Like, our app is supposed to do something, and it needs to let the user know how to do that something, right? That's the signifiers. What does the user need to do to get the app to do something? And once the user has interacted with the app, how can we provide feedback? How can we let the user know that, well, it's actually doing something? How can we provide errors and so on? And last but not least, like, I think that's rather universal, no surprises. Like, don't tell the user, I'm doing this, and then like wipe the hard drive. Like, don't. Surprises are bad UX. Like, no. Good thing is, we love Ruby, and Ruby loves CLIs. It's a great language and a really great ecosystem to write command line apps or command line interfaces in. One of my favorite libraries is actually, oh no, it's actually Thor. We got Thor. Well, not this one, sadly, I guess. But it's a library called Thor, and you can actually look at it under the ringing name of whatisthor.com. It's nice, and what that is, it's actually, funnily enough, really the basis of a lot of very important command line apps in the Ruby ecosystem. Rails CLI is built on top of Thor. That's lifted straight from the Ruby, the Rails code base. All the generators use on a daily basis, well, as really Thor apps. Our bundler uses Thor as well. And what Thor really does very well is it provides these signifiers. For us, it's just text. It's a command line app, so signifiers mean documentation. Thor makes it super easy to provide arguments. It makes it super easy to write documentation for your command line app and for your arguments. Like, if you were to do something like this in Bash, like, don't, or do. I like Bash, but it's not nearly as much fun as this, right? Now, that's for signifiers. What about feedback? How can you provide feedback? And there's this really awesome collection of gems. I really love that one. It's not made by me, it's the T2Y toolkit by Piotr Murok. And what it is, yeah, it's a collection of gems that provides little widgets that you can use on the command line. Now, it's still just text, but people got pretty good at just doing little thingies with text. For example, get spinners, yeah, all of those are Unicode characters, so you can show progress, that's nice. Maybe you wanna, show progress, it works, it's text, it's nice. There's even a pie chart thingy. Like, I've never actually used that one before, but now I did. So that brings me to the end of my talk already. Thank you so much. Thanks for the... Thanks to people at Meister for the great support, emotional support. Thanks to the Euruko organizers for letting me get up here, and yeah, thanks to all of you. Thank you.
The connection type we're using here is plug and pray. I used to work for a guy who, he was a really great speaker and performer, and he was very open about that everything he said and what he talked about was stolen or modified from other people, and I'm pretty much along those lines. There's very few things that are original. I just want to check that I get a thumbs up from upstairs, and we get a nice, beautiful presentation. Are you happy? Perfect. So let's give a big hand to Hana.
Hi, so I'm Hana. As we heard, there are many companies looking for new developers, and so there's a lot of people who want to find new talents. And there are also many juniors who want to enter the community. So let's do a quick exercise. Are there any junior developers here in this room? Put hands up. We have just 5 minutes, so then any senior developers? And any company owners? So all of you can do something to make this transition better. So I will tell you just my tips, which make my way to Ruby community very pleasurable experience, and I hope you can use something of this. So how did I get there? My formal background is in judgment and decision-making psychology, and when I was doing my PhD, I learned this statistical programming, statistical language R, and it was so much fun. And then it kind of brought me. Then I was teaching paragliding in the meantime. I got my first baby, and so I was like, I want to do something for me, so I'll learn to code. I stumbled upon Ruby Monsters, what's the Ruby course for women, and big shout out to Mario as one of the coaches who's here. And in the meantime, I needed to work, so I started as a freelance developer and doing small websites for other business owners. Then I got a second kid. It's not the same baby, but babies look the same. And I started to teach mothers how to code, so moms could bring their babies to the course. I was also asked to teach at Levagon. So I met many great students and teachers. I joined GitHub half a year ago, and that's what brought me to Euruko. So I will talk today about the happy path. So we know about a lot of struggles women and other minorities have to deal with. And I don't want to dismiss that. It's super important to acknowledge them and change them. And we will know more, we will hear more about them from Andy today, later in the afternoon. But this is about, I also think we need to celebrate when the things work. And it's a strong message to new people that it doesn't have to be bad. You can have a great experience entering tech. So as a junior developer, watch for the companies. You can search for the companies you want to work for, like find your fit. The first company doesn't have to be the ideal one. It will open way more doors for you. Also, the companies and interviewers want you to succeed. They're there. So they will help you. It can be a nice process. Build upon your strengths and find mentors, people who are invested in your success, and keep meeting people, as at conferences, meetups, or other courses. What can you do as a senior devs, as a colleagues, to make this transition easier for your new members? So reach out to them when they join. This happened to me. I joined GitHub, and I had a random people writing me, hey, welcome, I'm here if you need something. It was so nice, and it helped me a lot. Be ready to help, and do a lot of pairing and mentoring sessions. And make it clear that it's okay to ask. Show the juniors that you also don't know all the answers, and you're also vulnerable, and you ask questions. And as a company, craft the job ads carefully. Be mindful what the people can know at that stage. make the interviews a pleasurable experience. That was what I had. It was every company I interviewed, every single interviewers, it was joy to work with them. Invest in the onboarding process and set the people for success, like give them learning buddies, and educate your people about mentorship and sponsorship, and build on those strengths. Give them tasks in which they can succeed first and then add to their workload gradually. And as we all know what Minisvan is, so Mats is nice, so we are nice. So I got a lot of support in my journey, and I also want to give back. And when we all do it, it's a win for the whole community. Thank you.
Hana, thank you so much. Must be one of the most important rules in any business. Be nice. We're done with the lightning talks, and we're moving to city pitches. Ta-na-na-na-ta-na. Dun, 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 dun. And here we go.
Yeah. Oh. Hey. Hello. Yeah. Now. Hi, folks. Granada is my hometown. Granada is located in the south of Spain. It's a small and beautiful city with a lot of history and monuments, like the famous Alhambra. You can see in the picture. Granada is the city of the free tapa, which is basically a small bites of food given for free when you order a drink. It's close to the city. We have mountains to ski and beaches to enjoy the good weather. By the way, we have an amazing weather the whole year. In Granada, we have one of the most important universities of Spain, with many computer engineers that can be influenced by us if we bring this Euruko to them. All put together, I think Granada is the best option for Euruko 2023, and I'm confident that you are going to love the city. Thank you.
And do we have Gdansk here? Perfect. Pick one, pick any. We're all good to go. Gdansk.
Hi, yeah, so my name is Tomasz. You might have heard of Poland and Polish Ruby community, one of the oldest, nicest, most tenacious, regular meetups. I would like to pitch Gdansk, a beautiful city by the sea, where we're still one of the largest demographic here at the Euruko, and basically this is the tweet that prompted us to actually pitch, Poland and choose Gdansk as the city to meet. Gdansk is pretty great. It's very well communicated with the rest of the world. It has an airport. It's by the sea, so you can even come by boat or by swimming or however you like. Like all means of transportation are here. Euruko hasn't been there yet. There was Euruko in Poland in 2010 that I had the honor to co-organize, but that was in Krakow, at the south of the country. So this time we're taking the other extreme. We have pretty old, large communities. You probably know some Rubies from Poland, and they've already expressed their interest and enthusiasm in going there, maybe even giving a talk. It's a beautiful Hanseatic city, as you saw on the previous slide. So if you like Helsinki, if you like Vilnius, if you like Hamburg, if you like other cities by the Baltic Sea, you're probably going to feel, right at home. And yeah, you can get there by like all means of transportation. We have pretty nice people. We have really great food. Alcohol that's half the price of here in Helsinki. But if you prefer non-alcoholic beverages, they're also way cheaper. So, and you probably haven't been to Gdansk, even though you probably should, because it's a really great place to visit. So please vote for Gdansk for 2023. Thank you.
Before I start, my name is Ufuk Kayseriloğlu. I'm the engineering manager of the Ruby infrastructure team at Shopify. So if you have any questions about the Ruby work we're doing at Shopify, please come ask me afterwards. Okay, we're at Euruko. One thing I noticed, a lot of people have difficulties saying Euruko because I think they don't realize it stands for European Ruby Conference. And yes, if English was a logical language, it would be written that way. What I'm trying to motivate today is we should actually make it a Eurasian Ruby conference. So I'm saying let's meet where the continents meet. Let's go to the edge of Europe and let's meet in Istanbul. Let's make Istanbul Euruko 2023. So this is the view from the European side, looking towards Asia, across the Bosphorus. So Istanbul has a few things going for it. It's very easy to travel to, thanks to the extensive network of Turkish Airlines. Istanbul is the center hub of Turkish Airlines, and it's a member of Star Alliance. So you will have no difficulties getting there. We have rich history. The city was founded years before BC. This is one example, Hagia Sophia, which is a church/mosque, and it's been standing there for about 1,500 years. Think about that. It was built in 537, and it's intact in an earthquake zone. So, think about that architecture. We have a strong team on ground. We have a Ruby Turkey community that's active. We've even been active with remote events during the pandemic, and I'm one of the organizers of the user group there. We have climate weather. So right now, the temperatures in Istanbul are like 20s. So, you might have a better time there. And one thing that's going for us is we have affordable currency. So your euros, pounds, dollars go a long way. once more, let's make Istanbul Euruko 2023.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Yeah, I love it. All the possibilities that it offers. Yeah, excellent. Lviv, and we are good to go.
And we are Ukrainians. Thanks. These applauses are for our defenders and everyone who helped us to fight against Russian invaders. Thank you. And we are warmly welcoming you to visit our country, especially the west part of it, the Lviv city, and feel our bravery, our openness, our sense of humor, and our readiness to help each other. And also taste delicious local food and feel our hospitality.
Which is also not expensive. So you can enjoy it.
Yeah, it's true. So Lviv is waiting for you. Thank you.
We're all set. And now it's Vilnius.
Can you hear me, guys? It's all good, right? So, hi, everyone. It's so cool to be here, to seeing people face to face. That's so unusual after all this COVID lockdowns and this stuff. This is almost like the first time for me in Finland, and I'm learning a lot of like cultural stuff here. And the one thing that I learned that yesterday was the thing that was invented here. It's International Failures Day. I don't know, we failed to celebrate it yesterday, and it looks like my presentation is going to be like a little bit to this kind of extent. So I'm pitching Vilnius. I live in Lithuania. Whoa. And the next year it turns to be the anniversary, 700 years anniversary for the Vilnius. And the whole year is packed with bright events and everything that is going to be like so fabulous and amazing. And I believe Euruko could be the one first gem into the beginning of the whole century history for the Vilnius, starting from the beginning. So what is Vilnius? Not really people knows what is that. So that's the city that you can, hide in. On the one side or the other side, you can walk through the whole city by foot. And if you ask people what they think about Vilnius, that's kind of a very interesting approach. So people think that Vilnius, it is not actually where Asia and Europe means, but this is something small but very rare. And nobody knows where is that, right? But when you find it, you think like, yeah. It is amazing. So I was taught that to be successful, I have to mention that there is a lot of local beers, a lot of breweries, a lot of stuff. All cool, and you can enjoy that a lot, so, which means that you can actually have like more connections with local people, more connections with people who you brought with. And the cool thing that I brought actually, is the place. Euruko was in the conferences in the different buildings, even on a ship. So in Vilnius, we have a prison. So I promise you, if you choose Vilnius, we'll make Euruko in the oldest prison in the city. And it's so cool with all the things that's happening there and the absolutely outstanding afterbodies. I've been there. Trust me. Amazing stuff. Also nice food. So to be serious, like in Vilnius, you will try something that you've never tried before. And that will make you happy. Bring your friends, bring +1, do whatever you want to do. And we have a community. The last Ruby conference we had in Vilnius happened 5 years back. Then the COVID lockdown, and now we're rebuilding and kicking off back Vilnius Ruby user group in the city, welcoming a lot of people from Belarus, welcoming a lot of people from Ukraine, united a lot of Rubies there, so that's going to be awesome. A few more tips. Fly is easier to get to Vilnius. Don't drive. That's not a good idea, specifically with the price of the beer. Not everywhere pants are allowed. So this is just for a reminder. I don't know how seriously you can take it. And nobody told about karaoke. So Vilnius karaoke is one of the world famous karaoke. This picture doesn't show how it really looks. That's for your attention. But you will experience that for yourself. So please vote for Vilnius and we'll do our best. Thank you.
That I heard a pitch where like, come to our place, you'll get into a prison. So, but okay, okay.
So, hi, I'm Andy. Get used to this face, get used to this voice. I'm on again in like 45 minutes. These are a couple of things that I do. First, Ruby Friend follows really nicely from the talk about juniors. If you feel like you want to do some mentorship, you're not getting the opportunity at work, go and sign up there, and I'll match you with someone. And if you're a junior dev who wants a mentor outside your company, also sign up there. It's me, a spreadsheet, and some mailing software. I didn't Rails new my way out. I run Brighton Ruby in the UK and have done, next summer will be my 10th year. Not 10th event, there will be, there's been interruptions. And what I realized looking back is that next year is Euruko's 20th year. Conveniently, you can go to the Wayback Machine and steal some logos for excellent slides. Now, obviously, what I'm proposing is some sort of great 20-year jamboree, decade-capping monstrosity of a conference in one of Europe's friendliest cities. And I fully intended to get up and do that, but actually I don't want it. I was sat at dinner last night, and I thought, oh yeah, this would be great, I have a massive Euruko. And I realized, I'm going to do Brighton Ruby anyway. You should definitely come, it's really, really great. But what I want is more of this. So I don't want your votes. I don't want you to vote for Brighton. I want you to vote for one of the other cities. And whoever wins, I want to encourage the other cities to put a damn conference on anyway. It can be small. It doesn't have to be 700 people in a room. Trust me, if you saw Matthias yesterday as we were all walking in, he was physically vibrating. It can be quite stressful doing events. It can be small. It can be different. It can be your own thing. It can be in a prison, if that's your thing. And especially I want to talk to the people who thought about doing this and then didn't. Because you should put on an event as well. You should put on a meetup. You should put on a small conference. And my commitment to you is I will help you. Email me, slide into my Twitter DMs. I will help you. I will help work out the financial side of things. I'll help work out the event side of things. I'll help you make it small and manageable and doable. Because what I want is more of this. Don't vote for Brighton.
This point, we have a special announcement. In a bit after this, we will go into voting in the Slido. But before that, as you mentioned, every event takes a group of people to make it happen. And very often, it just so happens that there is someone who's carrying a fair amount of load, and that's the way things are. At the same time, on my behalf, and I want to give soon this to Vesa, but we want to give a special thing to Matthias. And as they say in the boxing rings, they come up with these ludicrous, and into the blue corner, and I'm going to start, then I'm going to give Vesa, because there's a lot of things. And our organizer, coming from the blue corner, 2 times Euruko organizer, 4 times Frozen Rails organizer. And
Moi Matias. I wasn't told about the format, but yeah, now you're passing the baton of Euruko, and we were talking with the, okay, yeah, true, it's a gong. So we were discussing with the Kisko team that we should really show some appreciation for you. Like said, you organized Euruko now twice out of happenstance, and then before Frozen Rails, the largest Ruby conference in Helsinki, if you don't count Euruko, for 4 times. You've been organizer of the Helsinki Ruby Brigade for countless and countless of meetups, open source contributor. You were a coach at the first ever Rails Girls event, which was in Helsinki. So we want to present to you the Lifetime Award for Ruby Community Excellence. Thank you, Matthias. I think we are truly blessed to have people like Matthias in our community, and I truly want to thank you for all the work you've done, and hopefully you still have energy after a couple of months of mostly sleeping to maybe do another conference someday. Do you want to thank the Academy?
Kiitos.
Thank you.
The moment Matthias gets his laptop back, which is right about now, we are going into voting for cities. You got very different pitches, very different unique selling propositions from different cities. The voting will open in a bit, and our next talk is in 2:30, so we have a good 40-minute break here. 2:30 we will continue. Thank you so much.